All right, we are live, and let me just make sure that my mic is working and I have everything ready. What happened last week was when I shared my screen, I forgot to press share. So hopefully this time I'm not going to make the same mistake. So last week, for those that were watching my live, I did a redo. So if you go to my video section on my YouTube channel, under the video section, I did a redo, basically sharing my screen, and I basically redid the live. So if you missed any portion of that, or you would like to watch it with me actually sharing the screen, go and take a look at my YouTube channel. All right, so today I want to talk about business citations. Now, some of you may be wondering what that is. I'm going to go from basically the basics, right? So, basically, what citations are, let me go and share. So, I have it sharing. And so, let me go and take a look at, I'm going to Google citations with regard to local SEO, right? So, when you Google it, so basically, in local search SEO, citations are mentions of a particular business name, address, and phone number. This is commonly known as NAP, right, in the world of SEO. And so, what citations is not as critical. Um, some people may say it's not as important, but it is important to a certain degree, right? There are other things that are more important, but this is something that when you first build your SEO foundation for a particular business, we focus on Google Business Profile first. Citations kind of happens along the line, along that afterwards. And so citations are basically mentions of your website on various other platforms or other, like for example, Facebook, Yelp, Yellow Pages. Yes, there are still Yellow Pages. Yeah, I said Yelp. Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are basically other platforms that has a mention of your NAP, name, address, and phone number, um, website as well. And so basically, what Google does is says, okay, this particular business or your business, um, you know, LinkedIn has a mention of your business on their website. Um, Facebook has a mention. So the more mentions there are on on all of these platforms, um, the better, basically, the higher your authority. Because if you're mentioned on LinkedIn, you're mentioned on, all these various platforms, your authority of your website increases, right? Um, Now, when I first started back in 2016, looking into, trying to figure out how do I how do I rank my website and so that I can rank organically and ultimately get onto page one. So as I was following along and they said, hey, citations, that's what you got to do. So you got to go to all these various websites and, well, first, before you do that, let me show you. Um, there's this website called Moz, uh, so locals listing, I think, score or something like that. And so I have it here, but you can also Google it as well. So right here is your score. So you can take a look and put in any business, your business in your case, and see what your score is or how well you're listed. And so I'm going to put in my real estate business, and the address is 319 Queen Anne Road. And then I'm going to put that zip, right? And then I'm going to just check to see what's going on, right? So what I did was I checked the score, and this was what, when I first started. And so I still have a, pretty bad score in my opinion, right? Um, but I am listed here. And so this is probably not as correct. But anyway, um, I have done it, but apparently for some reason it got disconnected, or maybe it's not finding it because I know I did it. But anyway, so I have to go in there, and so this is the tedious part of citations, and it's really one of the services that we do is this, and this is probably the the most stressful thing that I have to do when it comes to SEO, but it is something that's required because now I'm looking at it. I need to go and fix these, right? So what I did initially when I first started SEO was I went to all of these websites and basically manually listed them manually, one by one, right? Now there is a service for a lot of businesses may have heard of it. It's called Next or Y. Uh, Let me see here. Let me just type it in. Y Next. I think it's Yex. Yex, right? So Yex has a service that you can pay, and they will do the work of basically you pay monthly, and they will do it. But one of from doing a lot of research, what I've heard is that once you stop paying, then all of that work that you've been doing gets pretty much destroyed, I guess, in the case. So I didn't go with them, and because I just had bad. And if you're willing to keep on paying them, and then for whatever reason you decide not to pay them, or you cancel the service, I heard that through my research. I'm not sure because I have never used it. So for those buyers, beware. Okay. So what I did was I went and searched around because I was like, there's got to be a better way than going manually and listing all your website or your presence or your name, address, and phone number on all of these places. For example, if you go look through, wait, where's the search here? So you know, Google. I mean, this is a given. So your Google business profile, Google Maps, and Facebook is a given, right? You should also be listed on Instagram, LinkedIn, but Bing. I'm not sure what that is. Easy Local, Judy's Book, US City, Michael. All these, literally, you have to go and physically list, basically manually, right? So there has to be a better way. And so I went looking, and ultimately, this is Bright Local. This is Bright Local. They have a service, right? If you see here, yes, White Spark, Sync Up. I've never heard of that one. Moz also has that service, Vice Local, and Auth, right? So these are all the services that are available to utilize for your citations. Now, prices range. There's pros and cons of each. So after doing research, I've decided to go with Bright Local. And the reason I went with Bright Local is because they actually have people manually doing it. There's a little bit of work on our part that let's say if we use it, that we have to do in order to keep up to date with it. There's once you submit the listing, there are things that you have to follow up with, and then also with some of the listings, we do go in there and update some of the information as well as some of the photos. It all depends on how deep and how well you want, I mean, not deep, but how much information you want to provide to all of these citations. And so this is a service that we use, right? But um, and like I said, the reason we like it is because you have control over the submissions that is submitted. And then let me give you an example of our church that we recently submitted for them, right? And so if you go, let me see if I'm sharing my screen. I hope I'm sharing. Yeah, I am sharing. So this is what we just submitted for our church. And as you can see, we just submitted it October 17th. And basically, you have the ability to submit where you want to submit it to. And so this requires a little bit of knowledge. And so, if you're on a budget and you can't hire some people to do it, you can go and do it yourself. But we have a little bit of experience in where to submit it and stuff like that. And so, as you can see here, these all have been submitted. And generally, you look for authority of the website, and they rank authority. And so, the higher the authority, the better, right? Um, and this is something that you probably want to do every single year. So there is cost. I think it's like 100 over 120 or $125 per year to submit it, resubmit it every year. And so, and these basically they do all the work, and then what we do is there's notes in here. Oh, I don't want to see, I don't want to share the login and password. So they basically there's somebody at Bright Local physically, uh, whether through API or whether it's somebody physically doing it. I don't know. I give it to them because I I did it myself manually, and at one point in my agency, I was I was trying to create a process where I can hire somebody to do it, but I realized that it's not the best use of my time to do it. So there are services that are available. So give it to them, and then all we have to do is basically um, uh, follow up and make sure that it gets done and then update any information that we need to do. So that is, in my opinion, a very good service, and it is well worth it for us because looking at it from uh, just the the amount of time that it's going to take us to do it, it's better for them. We still have to put our time into it, but it's not as much as because they have the system down. We I tried to develop a system and it was very tedious, and so now I talk about this because it is not as important as some of the other things that I talk about when it comes to local SEO in general and getting your website ranked and Google ranking. But it is something I think it is. If so, I was so I was talking to my orthodontist, one of my clients this week, and you know, um, you know, I didn't recommend that he does citations because he needs to work on other things, which is reviews, responding to reviews, and putting photos on his Google Business profile. He has a website already. There are things that I would recommend for him to update his website, but like in anything, I'm not going to propose uh, all these things all at once because it is a lot of work. So we have to do it in steps and in phases, right? Because if you try to do everything all at once, it just becomes it becomes a huge like a monster project, and most likely things are gonna fall through the crack. So I said to him, let's look at citations maybe 6 months to a year later, but let's focus on getting more reviews, putting more photos, and responding to reviews because he has another location in his office practice that they're getting a lot of reviews, but they weren't responding to them. And so what we're doing is we're utilizing our platform, Pro 360, and we're turning on automatic AI so that the artificial intelligence can respond to those reviews probably in about a day or maybe a couple of hours afterwards, right? So, all right. So in that case, I think let me see if there's any questions. Let's see here. There's no questions. Well, that is it for today. But I think next week I am gonna talk about a case study behind the scenes. I promised that I was gonna do behind the scenes once a month. I'm gonna do that because the following Thursday I will be out because I will be skiing with my kids, going up to Vermont skiing. So I that week I have off the whole week. So I hope everybody has a great. If I don't see you, have a great rest of the holidays, and I will talk to you next week. All right, bye now.